downhill. Nobody sees you when you're running downhill. Dee 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 dee. All right. Hey folks, everybody is here. That's wonderful to see everybody. Just kind of trying to get my fingers warmed up a little bit here. In fact, I think I need to crank up the heating. Not very good when you're trying to play cold fingers, and I have also trimmed all my nails too short, so I'm coming out with all my excuses nice and early tonight. I'd like to say hello to everybody to start off. We've got Rod Simmons, Terry Cook, Rich, I noticed, had to go whilst I was setting up. Bob Hardy, brilliant. Andrew Marriott, Terry Cook, Leadbelly, hi Katie, David Price. We've got Leo Gibson. I'm guessing we've got Julie Flower as well somewhere. And Patricia, I'm hoping. We've got Pat somewhere here in amongst everything. We've got Eddie there. All right, Eddie, good to see you, mate. Long time no see. And I hope my friend over in Tennessee is with us tonight. That's Ernie Young. I think he is. I think I saw his name up there earlier on. We've got Blue Panther tonight as well, who's a new face, I think. I'm not sure I've seen you before, Blue Panther. And we've got Erin, good evening. Lakewood, Jorg. Great, we've got some new faces tonight as well as all my usual suspects, which is fantastic to have you all here. Obviously, it doesn't matter who you are. And it seems like the Green Smog is another new face. Dave R, I'm not sure if I've met you before, Dave. It could be. Graham Prentice. Yes, I've got covered some Eagles over on YouTube, Graham. I did a video where I did three. Hold on a second, folks. This just isn't quite as it should be. The camera there. Let me straighten that up. I think we need a little bit more light tonight as well. Now I am hoping That might, and we've got Brad Flint here as well. You're in York as well, and we've got Subigya Singh Gratha. Good to see you. Thank you very much. And Brad Flint. Great to see you, Brad, in Canada. Eric Finelli. Hey, seems to be sunny in England. It hasn't been sunny for long, I can tell you that much. Hey. Oh, the usual suspects are all here. Paul, great to see you too. Oh, we've got quite a few people with us tonight, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do what I usually do, and I'll play a few songs, and we'll talk technique, and we'll talk tips and things like that, and hopefully have a little bit of a play along. I'm hoping that my phone lasts long enough for our broadcast tonight, because I've been really busy these last couple of weeks actually. I've been doing all kinds of things, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a while, should you be interested. So I think I've covered everybody there and said a little hello to everybody. Eric, great to see you. Eric Anderson, thank you very much for joining us. So I'm going to play you a little bit of John Lennon now. It goes like this. Nobody loves you when you're down and out. Nobody sees you when you're on cloud nine. Everybody's hustling for a buck and a dime. I'll scratch your back and you scratch mine. Been across to the other side. I've shown you everything, I got nothing to hide. And still I ask you, do I love you? What it is, what it is. All I can tell you is, it's all showbiz. Tell you is, it's all showbiz. Nobody loves you when you're down and out. Nobody knows you when you're on cloud nine. Everybody's hustling for a buck and a dime. I'll scratch your back and you knife mine. I've been across the water so many times. I've seen the one-eyed witch doctor leading the blind. And still you ask me, do I love you? What you say, what you say. Every time I put my finger on it, it slips away. Every time I put my finger on it, it slips away. Well, I get up in the morning and I'm looking in the mirror to see. Ooh. Then I'm lying in the darkness and I know I can't get to sleep. Ooh. Nobody loves you when you're old and gray. Nobody needs you when you're upside down. Everybody's hollering about their own birthday. Everybody loves you when you're 6 feet in the ground. And there you have it. That's a little song by John Lennon called Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out. I don't mean to depress anybody, but I always seem to choose these slow songs. I have a real passion for them, I suppose you would say. And so, yeah, that was a little bit of John Lennon for you. Hopefully, I've done a lesson on that one. So if you're interested in learning that, you can head over to Patreon and find that. It may even be on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure. So we've got Julie here now, I can see. Hey, in the front row with her Prosecco ready. That's always good. And we've got Pat as well and Patrice. Hey, Pete. Patrice, great to see you as well. Nothing wrong with slow. Well, I'm glad it meets with your approval, Paul. That's really, really cool. So, what have you all been up to? That's of interest to me as well, folks. I'd be interested to know what you've all been doing and how you've been enjoying any of these lessons that I've been doing lately. I've been doing this series on the we've got the dub there and John G. Such a different tune from the classic Clapton covered Leo. We've got so much just practicing. Yeah, well, okay, so George has answered me, so I'm interested to know what you've all been doing. I should just point out that the series of videos I've been doing, which is kind of three blues grooves, three turnarounds, three blues licks, and all these type of things seem to be going down very, very well with you. So I'm really pleased to see that. You know, once I have some feedback from you, it really makes my job easier because then I know what to deliver to you, and especially my patrons. I want to keep you happy. You're supporting me in what I do, so it's of great importance to me that I'm getting the right kind of balance with things and stuff. So that's really important to me. Now, I think the last one you had in that series was 3 finger picking exercises. Okay. Now that was a patron only lesson. It's not a YouTube one. But I am going to talk about some of the things in that because probably one of the most asked questions that I get is about finger picking. It seems like once people have got started on the chords and things like that, then finger picking is the next kind of natural progression onwards from that. And that's completely understandable. I think that you know, it's really, really important. And as I'm just mentioning that now, Petulia is mentioning about playing fingerstyle, and we've got Julia as well. Nice to see you. And Eric Anderson is echoing what I've just said. Blue Panther's working on the cage system. Patrice is practicing. Lonesome Friends of Science. Beautiful, beautiful song, Wayne. Well done. Finger picking, but Scott Hartley. Great to hear that, Scott. There's going to be more of this stuff coming your way. Practicing those blues links and other lessons. So trying David Stanley, Damon Wolverans, South Africa just started. So you're practicing the finger picking and blues scales. That's great, Damon. So as you can see there, a lot of the comments are along the lines of finger picking as well, because it is one of those things that most guitarists want to do once they've got past that little chord stage thing that we're doing and things. Completely understandable. And so those 3 exercises that I gave you to do are so much more powerful than you probably realize. Now, the first one was just a little exercise with the thumb like this. So we have a C chord and a G chord, F chord, and a C chord. Now that's, on the face of it, seems a very, very simple thing to do, but it's quite another thing to do to get it how you would like it to be. I guess when you start out doing this type of thing, that it can be relatively uneven and it's difficult just to get it all sounding quite solid and smooth. And that should be something that you spend some time on, because there's no point really progressing onwards with lots and lots of different exercises, let's say. It's quite easy for me to throw a load of exercises your way which could potentially be a little difficult. And I think the thing is that, like I say, you need to master each one of these exercises. So I'm really hoping that you're not feeling, oh, this is really basic stuff and I can't wait for the next installment of this, you know, to get going. Because if it is something new to you and you're getting started in this area, then please spend the time on those exercises. I know that they're simple, but it's very, very important to get them nice and smooth. Okay, as I've said, that will really, really help you going forward. What I don't want to really see is people just scratching the surface of that and then, you know, you're waiting for more exercises before you've actually kind of come to terms with those basic exercises, because it starts getting a little bit more complicated. So just take your time on those and you will get there, I promise you. I've got lots of finger picking stuff planned for you, more in terms of exercises, because if I can get your fingers working in a certain way, then I think that that's going to really help you a bunch, okay? So we've got Alan Robbins here and Fedexto, Green Smog. There's some great new faces as well. So obviously this kind of little show is gaining legs and a little bit of momentum, which is always really, really nice to hear. So now I haven't played any blues for quite some time, and I know that a lot of you like the kind of blues stuff. So I guess it's only fair I do you a little bit of blues. So let's do that, yeah. I hope you're all enjoying your blues lessons and things like that. And I'd like to say a thank you to Leo, who is trying to help me categorize some of these lessons by mentioning in the posts whether you feel they are easy, intermediate, or advanced. And this is something that you can all do to help me, because then when people over at Patreon have a look right through that master list, then they're going to see these little symbols next to it to tell them whether it's an easy lesson or an intermediate lesson or an advanced lesson. Yeah, so I think that's really helpful. If you can do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. And I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Yeah, I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, I was lonesome, felt so lonesome, I could not help but cry. All my love's in vain. When the train rolled up at the station, I looked her in the eye. When the train rolled up the station, I looked her in the eye. Well, I was lonesome, felt so lonesome, I could not help but cry. All my love's in vain. When the train left the station with two lights on behind. When the train had left the station with two lights on behind. Well, the blue light was my blues, the red light was my mind. All my love's in vain. A little bit of love in vain for you there. And I see Kent's with us tonight. Great to have you on board, Kent. Haven't seen you for a while. Okay, so a partial mute Alan's just talking about there, which is a difficult thing to do. There's a lot happening with these blues songs, okay? So this is kind of something maybe I can help you with, okay? So to get this kind of dampened sound, we have the palm of our hand, the side of our palm here, and it's laid across here, and that means when you're kind of plucking this fifth string, you get a nice deadened sound like that. And it will, like most things, just take a little bit of practice, but it's nothing that you can't do. I'm sure everybody's capable of doing this. It's just a little bit of practice. So if you just sat there, you don't even really need your left hand for this one. You can just, and then just you're trying to get, so you can see that hand is kind of quite, it's staying put, and that's important. You can't have it kind of going all over the place, because then obviously the muting will stop once you start moving your hand and things. So always remember when you're trying to do your blues, even if you're doing a blues shuffle, lay that palm on the strings close to the bridge. I find is a good place. That's not to say it's the only place, so please do experiment with that, because it's a very, very good point to be raised as well. Okay, now we've got TTVM Perez with us tonight as well, which is brilliant. Okay, so how am I playing the D chord is what you're asking, Brad, and it's a good question. Great to have some questions here tonight as well. Feel free to ask them. I will do my best if I can. Simro, I'm sure you will get there. I know you're saying you're playing it in vain, but you will get there. It's all just time, okay? What's the next couple of, okay, well, look, I'll come back to you, Matt, in a moment, okay? So how am I playing the D chord? What I'm doing, Brad, is I'm placing my index finger on the second string of the first fret. And then I'm using my middle finger on this top string of the second fret. And then the ring finger is going on the third string of the second fret as well. And you have that. All right? And like when you dampen it, and there's a lot you can do with that D chord. But again, control over it is essential. And this is something, again, which I wanted to talk to you about, because I think what separates, let's say a kind of advanced guitarist to somebody who's maybe starting out on the journey, let's say, or a little bit down the road on the journey, is that it's about being in control of the guitar. You as time goes by, you gain control over the guitar. Initially, when you're starting out, it's a little bit like the guitar's in control of you, and you can't really control it as you might like to. So, the notes are ringing out and things like that, and where you wouldn't want them to ordinarily and things. So as time goes by, you start putting all those little things right, and it all starts coming together. Oh, wow. What is this, Kent? You're making another donation. That's extremely kind of you, Kent. Thank you very, very much indeed. And Paul, so hello from Israel. Great to have you here as well. And thank you, Paul, for joining us tonight. So, like I say, in time, you get more control over the guitar. To start out with, it kind of runs away with you a little bit. And you just don't have that control. But as time goes by, it will start to happen, okay? So, just keep practicing. I think the most important thing I often say is just every time that you pick up the guitar, you're improving, okay? And I'm here to tell you that. And if you're in that way inclined, you can always post over on the Facebook group page, which gives me an opportunity to hear how you're doing, and I can always give you some feedback on your playing. So that's a great opportunity. If you haven't checked that out already, there's a link down below to my Facebook group page. And also I'll just mention very quickly that if you haven't already checked out my Patreon page, there's a link down to that below. That's what keeps me going. And if you're interested in helping me out in a real way, then you can head over there and do that. I think 90% of you who are watching tonight probably are already patrons, and I'm very, very grateful for your support. Right, okay, I think it's time for a little bit of a play along now, okay? And I've got a couple of things in mind. So have you all got your guitars ready? Because it would be good if you did. When you have, I will tell you. I think, Katie, this is a song for you. You've mentioned this a few times. And I'd just like you to know, let me all know when you're ready to roll, okay? So, Green Smog's there, George is there, Paul's there, Leo's there, Joel's there, Julie's there, Terry's there. Okay, when I get frustrated, even though I practice quite a bit guitar in hand. Terry, try not to get frustrated. We can talk about that more at length. Please message me over on Patreon. I'm only too happy to help you stop becoming frustrated with the guitar, because that gets in the way. Petula, you're ready. Wayne, you're tuned and ready. Katie, you ready? Paul, you ready? Blue Panther, we're all okay. Okay, so we've got this. This is called When a Cowboy Trades His Spares for Wings. All right? I bet you didn't think this was coming your way, did you? All right, and it's a lovely little song. You can play it in a very simple way, or you can play it in a slightly more complex way. So let me talk you through what is happening in the verses first, okay? Do what I usually do. And then we can have a little bit of a play along, which I love doing with you folks. It's great to hear you and everything else. All right, so let me talk you through the verse. We've got a C chord. Then we go to a D7. It's like a D7 and a G7. Okay, so I'm expecting a little bit more from you tonight, okay? Because I know you can do this. So let me just recap that first little bit for you. You've got this C, and I'll try and sing it and explain it. It's quite difficult to do both, but I'm gonna do the best I can. I thought you'd like this one, Katie. Hello there, Dipro. All right, so we've got let me tell. This starts in C. Let me tell you, buddy, there's a faster gun coming over yonder. D7, G7. C, F, C, G, and C. All right, let's try that again, right? Join me this time. We've got C, you buddy, there's a faster gun coming over yonder. D7, G7. Tomorrow comes. See, let me tell you, buddy, and it won't be F till you see and G and C. Okay, so you should, I'm hoping, have those verses now, right? Don't worry too much if you haven't, it doesn't matter. It's all just about trying and taking part. Now the chorus is G, lippy, I, F, and C. Same again, G, F, and G, C, and F. And try and hear if you can, C, G, and C. I hope you're all right with this. I'm sure you are. I've got every confidence in you, okay? It's a little bit difficult for me to sing and tell you what's happening. So let's just have a go and see what we can come up with. I'm really listening out for you. I love hearing those vibes coming through from all over the world. So I'm listening out for you now. So just think for the verses. You've got C, D7, G7. And then C, F, C, G, C. This is where it's handy to have your pen and paper. And then for the choruses, you got G, F, C, G, F, G. C and F, C, G, C. All right, so let's just see how we go. Because I just love listening to you lot. So here we go. That's sounding great. C. I'm just going to hold that chord for a while because it's Great to hear all you lot playing. There we go. Let me tell you, buddy, there's a faster gun coming over yonder. D7, tomorrow G7 come. See, let me tell you, buddy, and it won't be F to C till you find yourself singing G, cowboy song C. J-I-I-A with round-up ends. Yippee-I-I-A, the campfire dance. Yippee-I-I-A, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. Brilliant! I'm loving it. Alright, let's go again. When they wrap my body in the bindling sheet, and they take my 6 irons, pull the boots from my feet, unsaddle my pony, she'll be itching to roam. I'll be halfway to heaven under horsepower my own. Let's sing it as well. Yippee-I-I-A when the roundup ends. Yippee-I-I-A when the campfire ends. Yippee-I-I-A, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. I'm loving that. Absolutely well done. Really, really good. Alright, so one more chorus. I'm enjoying it so much. We're going to have another chorus. Into G. Yippee-I-I-A when the roundup ends. Yippee-I-I-A when the campfire ends. Yippee-I-I-A, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. When a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. Big round of applause for you there. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Hey, thank you, Dirt Worshipper. Glad to have you here with us tonight. And Leo, okay. I don't know any Val Doonigan, Leo, I'm afraid. I'll have to leave that to you. That was sensational. Really, really well played. I really threw you a bit of a curveball there tonight, didn't I? But I had faith in you. I knew you could do this, and you did. You all delivered absolutely beautiful. Thanks, Dipro. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You're struggling to play the G there, Mark. The second thing, is it okay to use the old-fashioned G chord? Of course it is. You go with whatever's good for you, Mark. That's as long as you can get through. That's the main thing. And I really enjoyed listening to you there. So much so, I'm even thinking of just diving straight into another play-along, because I love our play-alongs. They're great. Let's have a little look what I had in mind for tonight now. Okay. Now, another one I thought we could all have a little bit of a go about was, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Petula, and I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. That's wonderful. I don't know if you enjoyed it more than I did. I absolutely love hearing you lot play. It's wonderful. Okay, so now, why don't we all try and play a little bit of blues together? Because I'm hoping that by now, many of you will have some ideas about the blues. Because I've covered so much ground in this area, probably more than any other, that I'm very, very confident in your abilities with the blues, and especially a simple E blues. I think that's something that you're probably all pretty comfortable with. I did a lesson going back a few weeks now, Sweet Home Chicago, and it was like a basic version, so everybody would have a chance of playing it, because the thing is with Robert Johnson is that to play them authentically like he played them, they're quite demanding, even the ones in standard tuning. So I always try and do a simple version and a more authentic version. And this simple version seemed to go down really, really well. So let's see if we can do a little bit of that. Okay, I'm just going to pull up some lyrics because I don't remember the lyrics for every song that I do. I should remember that. I kind of do remember them for this, if I'm being honest, but just as a little safety measure. So as you know, it's an E blues. So what that means is, just give me 1 second here. Okay. So we've got E chord, we've got an A chord, and we've got a B7 chord. And I have every faith in you being able to do this. So you can play it any way you want to play it. You can just play standard chords, which would be an E chord, an A chord, and a B7 chord. Or if you've advanced past the stage of just playing the chords, then maybe you could play a shuffle for your E and your A. Your B7 just standard, A. And maybe some of you can now go or some kind of turnaround, or something along those lines. Yeah, so there's a little bit that you know, irrespective of your abilities, you should be able to do. Now, I'm not going to talk you through this one, so you're on your own, because I'm going to be busy singing it, but I'm going to be listening out to see how you're all doing with it, because I know that you can do this. Excellent stuff. Back to A. I said, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? B. Come into the B7 now. Back to the land of California. Sweet home, Chicago. Oh, 1 and 1 is 2, baby. 2 and 2 is 4. I'm heavy loaded, baby, booked, gotta go. I'm singing, hey, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? Fantastic stuff, this. Back to the land of Chicago, my sweet home, Chicago. All right, we're gonna play some now. B7. Now 2 and 4 is 6, baby. You're gonna keep monkeying around with your boyfriend, but gonna get your business in a trick. I'm singing, hey, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to the land of California, my sweet home, Chicago. That's fantastic stuff. And A, sounding good. Back to A. D7, turn around. Hey, baby, don't you wanna go? listening out for you now. Sounding good. I said, hey, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? Lovely. B7, back to the land of California. My sweet home, Chicago. Close. That was, again, absolutely fabulous stuff. Really, really well done, honestly. Just for taking part and having a go, because ultimately that's what it's about. And whenever you get the opportunity to play with anybody else, musically speaking, it's a great idea to do that, because I think you probably improve more than at any other time in a sense, okay? Because it's not something, when you're doing all your solo practice, shall we say, you know, when you play and you're just practicing on your own and things, then when you get that opportunity to play with others, which isn't easy at this difficult time at the moment, but whenever you do get the opportunity, suffice it to say, it's well worth having a go. Really, really is. Okay, so I'm playing you a lot of music tonight for a change, because I've had a lot of requests and a lot of people are wanting to hear me play songs. So I'm trying to do that, and I'm going to also answer any questions that you have. So do feel free to ask those, and I will take a look at those in between doing the songs. Yeah. So what we got going on here now? Yeah, Joe, hope you're keeping well, mate. I have a calculator for sale if you're interested. No. I like it, John. That's a good one. That is a good one. 2 and 2 and 2 is 6. I know. Give me a break. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to tell you all the chords as I'm going along. All right. So this is my most recent lesson. And for those of you who are over at Patreon, you will have seen this new lesson which was posted today. It's another J.J. Cale song. And on the recorded version that I brought to you on the video that was released today, there is a little slide lesson for you. So anybody who's interested in slide should head over there and check it out. It's a lovely little video, if I say so myself. I think there's some great ideas in it. Okay, so Lauren, nice to see you, and thanks for joining us in Portugal as well. Yes, I do have some tips, Terry. Okay, so Terry hits on a really good point here. One which is one of the most important things. Now, there are a few things that I want to discuss with the beginners, and then I'll come back and I'll play you this song. Now, some of the things that I feel are most helpful to beginners, some of the, how shall I put it, some of the, I can't think of quite the right word. Some of the things that you want to come to terms with, which will really make you sound like you're progressing, as it were, are timing issues, like Terry has pointed out here, and also chord transitions. So and another thing is, when I say chord transitions, what is always a bit of a giveaway for when somebody is learning guitar is that there can be some spaces in between transitions. So let's just say we're playing C, F, and G, C, G, and F, or something like that, and we're going any old strumming. It doesn't really matter. So as you can see, that transition between the C and the G is happening nicely, yeah. But what sometimes happens when people are beginning is that the transitions, there are spaces. So the C and the G is fine, right? But when we come to an F, sometimes what happens is so this kind of thing. And it's perfectly understandable. We've all gone through that. I've been there, and everybody else has. But that's something to work on. I think it's important to just always kind of tick things off. Don't jump too far ahead. One of the most common things I see is people have no sooner started than they're trying to do crazy, ridiculous, difficult things, which is just going to put you off ever really playing guitar. You're just going to put it down and never pick it up again. So it's important that these improvements that you make are incremental. So they're just small little steps. It's far better to take small steps than try and take huge leaps when you're learning an instrument. It just doesn't work that way. You're just going to set yourself back further. So in answer to your question, Terry, with regard to timing, you really have to count. And, this is something that I spend some time with students, face-to-face lessons. If we're playing, let's say, take Sweet Home Chicago as an example, what we need to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See how I'm counting, and I'm playing exactly on the beat. I'm not either just before it or just after it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. There's no point going quickly if we can't go slowly. So always start slow. That's going to be a good way for you to go. So it's just counting. It might seem like a really simple thing, and some people expect really fancy answers, but often the answers are very simple, to be honest. So just count, and if you find it difficult to count while you're playing, try a metronome. That might work for you. So you can just have that tick tock, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And if you do that enough, you're going to find that the timing gets easy. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Obviously, that makes sense, right? So it's in your interest to try and do this with a lot of things. Well, you will, Terry. I think the thing is that if you just practice slowly, Terry, just going through, say, one song, and I know that it's easy to lose your place and all these other things, but I have every confidence in you, Terry, that this is something that you can do. You don't. Another thing which helps you is singing, because it tells you where you are in the song. Now, I know I've just said count, so, how can you count and sing at the same time? Well, you need to have the metronome going. And then that way, that's going tick tock, and you're going, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? However slow it needs to be. I said, hey, baby, don't you wanna go? So I hope that helps. I know it's relatively simple advice, but it's practical advice, and hopefully advice that you can use. You will do this, Terry. I have every faith in you. Just take your time. And everybody else, lots of people struggle with this timing thing, and it's one of the things which will make your playing sound so much better when everything is happening right on the beat, and the chord transitions, there's no spaces, and then it's just down to getting your dampening right and things, and all these little things, once you bolt them all together, make a nice performance, and I'm sure you will do that. Okay, so as I said, this is a new lesson recently today released on Patreon. And hello there, James. Practice, 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 as Dirt says. That's it. Every free moment you get. So here we go. Can you play something easy? Can you play something low? Can you play something lonely? My baby might know. Can you give us one moment, one memory? For it might be the last dance for my baby and me. Don't turn off the music. by lonesome sound. One moment of pleasure is all that we need, for it might be the last time for my baby and me. For it might be the last dance for my baby and me. Just play you a little short version of that song, but as you can hear, it's a really nice little song, like a lot of JJ Cale. I'm sure are aware by now, I'm a big fan of JJ. He did some fantastic music, and you can pretty much put on any of his CDs, and there's bound to be a couple of tracks on there that you're going to enjoy. He's a great artist, and you know, as I say, I think I've covered about 10 of his songs now, and that's another one. There is also a demo video of the song on YouTube, so you can hear it played with the slide. And if you're interested in learning the slide, you can head over to Patreon and get the tabs and stuff like that. So that's called My Baby and Me by JJ, and I think it's a lovely song. I think that often as well, I'm choosing some slow songs because it really helps beginners, because you've got the time to just strum it nice and easily without having to rush around and things. And it gives you time to put something of your own on the song, to sing it like you mean it, you know, and sing it from the heart, because I think that carries over probably more than most things. I think people can really tell when somebody is being sincere and trying to put something of themselves into a song. It really does carry across. So these slow ballady type songs are great for that type of thing. So hopefully you'll run through some of them, and it will help you too. Right, okay, so let's have a little look what we've got left here now. So time is beating us yet again. As I say, I think you're still here, so that's obviously a good thing. That's a real good thing. I'm glad that we are still powering through, and we've still got some battery left in the thing. Now, I think it was Andrew who made a great post over on the Facebook group page this week and brought to my attention an album really of Yusuf, Cat Stevens, where he's done a CD. I'm not sure, I think it's relatively new. It's certainly not an old CD. And he covers some tracks, and on the album he covers a Lead Belly track, which I'm going to play you, and it's definitely going to be a future lesson. As you probably aware already, I'm a real big fan of Lead Belly. We've looked at the, you know, we've done that one. We've also taken a look at Midnight Special. And what I like about some of these tracks, now with Midnight Special, I covered that song recently over on Patreon, and I did a slightly different version based on somebody else's version of the song. And this is exactly what Cat Stevens has done on the Lead Belly track that he covers. And I think this is a great idea that I want to put out there for you. Now, anybody, I'm going to set you a little bit of a challenge. You can think of any blues song by any artist. It can be as simple as you like. It doesn't really matter. You know, probably the simpler the better in a sense. But why don't you try and have a go to completely change the song and play it how you would play it? Because this is where some really interesting ideas come about. Don't fall into the trap of trying to play everything identically like the artist played it. The danger in that is I've played with guitarists over the years who have been excellent musicians, but all they can really do is mimic other players. And that's because they've never really put something of their own on some of the songs that they've played, or never really explored what they have to offer. So that's why I'm going to set you this little challenge. It doesn't matter if you share your ideas with me or not. I'm just saying that you can do over on Facebook. And I think you might find it fun. So take a blues song, take any song for that matter, and see if you can take the chords, keep the same chords, obviously. I mean, you may change it to a different key or something like that, but try and play it in a different way to the original. I think there's some fun to be had in that. I do that quite regularly when I'm playing for my own pleasure, to see if I can come up with ways of playing some of these great songs, but just in my own way. And I'm sure that you can do this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you this Lead Belly song in the style that Cat Stevens plays it, okay? And like I say, this is going to be one that we do in the future. It's going to be a future lesson. It goes like this. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain, and tell him I'm gone. Tell him I'm gone. And if he asks you, was I running? If he asks you, was I running? If he asks you, was I running? Tell him I was flying. Tell him I was flying. If he asks you, was I laughing? If he asks you, was I laughing? If he asks you, was I laughing? Tell him I was crying. Tell him I was crying. I don't want no cornbread and molasses. I don't want no cornbread and molasses. I don't want no cornbread and molasses. It hurts my pride. It hurts my pride. All right. All together now. We're going to sing about the hammer. All right? I want to hear you all singing, take this hammer. All right? Here we go. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Tell him I'm gone. Tell him I'm gone. One more time. All right? Fantastic, this stuff. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. Tell him I'm gone. Tell him I'm gone. Well done, folks. Fantastic bit of singing there. Fantastic bit of singing. It's always wonderful to hear you and, you know, for you to take part in this. It really makes everything work so much better. So I'm very, very grateful for you all joining in on this one. And it seems like, you know, that time has beaten us again, folks. It's come around. I just do not know where it goes, but it does go. So that is something that I'm hoping to bring to you in the future, in the not too distant future. It's not a difficult song, and hopefully that's one we can do as a play along. It'd be fantastic if we could. I don't see any reason why we can't do that. But what I'm going to do in the lesson when I cover that is show you lots of different ways and different guitar parts you can put in. You know, it's one thing if you're trying to back yourself singing, then, you know, the chances are you're going to play it in a more strummy kind of way. But if you're going to record it, then it gives you the ability to put different guitar tracks down. I've been getting some very positive feedback on some of these videos I've been producing recently, because people enjoy that, you know, second guitar, hearing the second guitar or hearing the solo and things like that. And this is something that you can do yourselves as well. I always suggest that you try and record yourself, because A, you can hear how much you're progressing. And, you know, these days with a smartphone, it's easy enough for us to do. And the beauty of that is that we can record a song, you know, in its early stages, let's say. And then if you come back to it 3 or 4 months down the road, and you hear how you used to play it in comparison to how you play it further down the road, it's really encouraging, because the evidence is there. You listen back and you think, wow, geez, I wasn't playing that too brilliantly way back when I started out, but now I'm playing it so much better. So it's like a point of reference in a sense. So try and record yourself. It doesn't have to be a fancy recording. It can be something simple, like I say, on your phone. If you've got some recording equipment which allows you to do some better recordings, I know that some of you do have that facility. I know Paul's very good at doing these type of things, and there's a lot of options out there when it comes to recording. And I know that a lot of people have expressed some interest in knowing a little bit more about how I put together my recordings and things, and I haven't forgotten about that. That is something that I am definitely going to visit in some of my future videos. Now, I'd also like to apologise. I spoke to you a little bit last week about songwriting, and I hope that some of you have taken me up on this idea, because it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be difficult. You can start out with 1 chord, 2 chords, 3 chords, and I think it's important that you start this process early on in your guitar playing career, you know, and then that way, the more you do it, like most things, the more it will improve. I mean, I've heard many very famous songwriters talking about how they've written, for every good song they've written 5 bad songs, which they wouldn't really share with the general public. So that's relatively comforting to know that if songwriting is something that you aspire to do. And it brings you a tremendous amount of satisfaction once you come up with something that you feel really does work. So I think it's definitely worth exploring. So yeah, let's see what we got now. Now let me just check before I go. I haven't forgotten anything, because there was quite a bit of stuff I wanted to cover here. I think I've covered most of the ground that we looked at. So I don't know if any of you have. Yeah, Terry, I know that a lot of people are looking forward to knowing a little bit more about recording, and quite rightly so. You can have tremendous fun doing this. And as I say, even on a smartphone nowadays, you can get like a multi-track recorder whereby you can record multiple tracks, and it's quite interesting to do that, because it starts getting you to think outside the box a little bit. So definitely worth a go. So give that some thought. I think it's, you know, well worth spending some time on. Now then. Now, another thing I wanted to talk to you about was tuning your guitar. Very important. And a lot of people reach for the tuner, but anything that you can do by ear is a great idea. So I'm sure most of you will know that you can come up to this 5th fret here. And if you fret the top string and play the one below it, they should sound the same. And then you can go down the strings. The only difference being that when you come to the trying to tune the second string, we come onto the third string of the fourth fret, and all the others are on the fifth fret. Okay, so it's only that when we're trying to tune that second string. And I would advise some of you to do that, because one of the things that I feel is lacking over on YouTube, I've said it before, I'll probably end up saying it many times again in the future, is that there's not enough to train your ears. There's not enough things where you have to listen, because everything's put on a plate for you, and it's, you know, it's kind of already there. You don't really have to do too much listening. So even something as simple as tuning your guitar, it can really help working your ears, you know. So that's another little exercise that you can do, and then see how accurately you got it. Put a tuner on after you've done it and see how close you manage to get. Anything you can do to develop your ears is well worth doing. In fact, there are some ear training apps for smartphones out there, which I think is a great way to spend 10 minutes of your time. And what it does is it plays certain notes and you guess what those notes are. And if this is something that you can develop in yourself, it's a fantastic skill to have, and it's going to help you tremendously when you come to learning solos and playing all that type of stuff. So ear training is a very, very important thing in guitar playing, which I feel is sadly lacking nowadays. I try and incorporate certain things and tell you the importance of it, and then hopefully, you know, you will be you know, able to go off in that direction. So that's it, folks. We've come to the end of the road yet again for another show. So I'd just like to say a great big thank you to everybody for joining me for tonight's show. As usual, it's wonderful to have you. I'm going to spend a little bit of time thanking each and every one of you for joining me tonight. You do need to tune your guitar again, Leo. I know you're being silly, and I know you already know that, but I'll tell you anyway. James, great to have you with us, James Crow, tonight. Julie Flower, the slide is working out nice, thanks, Julie. There's going to be more of that coming too. You'd also like to hear insight into the recording. I only have the phone and probably laptop as well. Yeah, you know, I've had such a lot of feedback on this, so guys, leave it with me. It is something that will definitely be coming your way. I'll do some dedicated videos to recording. I've had enough of you telling me that's something that you'd like to see, so we'll do that. The Dub, you're very, very welcome. Thank you for so much for joining us. Paul Hilliker, thanks, Paul, for joining us. Great Beatles entry you had there, and I think your recording's very good, Paul. Andrew, thank you for joining us, Andrew. It's about time you did another post. I haven't seen you play in a little while. David Stanley, thank you, David, for joining us. Great to have you with us tonight. Paul Magson, great to have you, Paul. Nice to see you. Terry Cook, good night to you. David Howard, Bristol Blue, George James, John Northgate, you stay safe. Wayne Dell, glad you enjoyed it, Leo. Bob Hardy, thanks for making your birthday. Oh, hold on, Bob, hold on. Mick31, Lead Belly, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Katie. Alex Richardson, we've got to sing happy birthday to Bob. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Everybody, happy birthday, dear Bob. Happy birthday to you. Hey, Alan Robbins, thanks for joining us. Alex Richardson, Petula, thank you very much indeed. Maxter, The Dub, happy birthday. It's great to have you all, folks. Thanks for joining me. I do hope you'll return in a fortnight's time, and we'll go through and do some more play along, see if you can work on some of the stuff we've taken a look at. That would be fantastic. Okay, Andrew, YouTube Aaron, thank you for joining us. Great to have you. Thanks, folks. See you all in a fortnight. CP, you just missed it. Oh no. See you later, Katie. See you, Leo. See you, Pat and Julie and everybody else. Fedexto, goodbye to you as well. CP, anybody who's missed the show, you'll be able to rewatch the show on catch up over on my YouTube channel or Patreon or wherever it is you choose to watch my videos. You all take care, and I look forward to seeing you soon in a fortnight. All the very best. Take care.